quite the disturbing article title here by Raul Diego, Mint Press News. I'll link it in the description box. With rent freezes about to expire, a lot of places, unfortunately, that's already actually happened. Mnuchin, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, aka the foreclosure king, lobbies for more Wall Street bailouts. And again, all of these so-called stimulus packages have vast majority of the funding to tunes of trillions of dollars have already gone to Wall Street, these big massive corporations, the wealthy, while everybody else has gotten crumbs if they qualify for those crumbs. So just more of the same. We live in a oligarchy. There's no other way to put it. This kind of just talks about some stuff with the Mayans. United States Treasury Secretary Department keeps a stash of taxpayer money and uses it for currency speculation. Massive profits from the secret market activities can be used for things like funding foreign governments and many other applications at the discretion of the presiding administration. The slush fund was the central funding vehicle for the multiple economic relief facilities enacted in the CARES Act, again, which was a huge, massive transfer of wealth upwards, I think, in the history of the United States, potentially in the history of the world, because, again, it was trillions of dollars. It's operated by the Federal Reserve on the behalf of the Federal Department, or the U.S. Treasury Department. Check this out. By January 2021, so that like 3 weeks away, renters in the U.S., I don't like America, will owe $34 billion to their landlords, according to a global investment bank advisory firm Stout. More than half of the eviction moratoriums enacted to avoid an upsurge in homelessness during COVID lockdowns have been rescinded, including, a federal moratorium that expired in July. It's clear, the U.S. government, people in power, do not give a shit about the working class in the United States. They're completely bought and paid for and controlled by these corporate interests, by the owner class. There's again no other way to phrase it. Rent and landlord relief programs across the country take up the lion's share of the CARES Act funding allocations, with states like Virginia having already spent over 38% of the money reserved for renters by early November. As the money runs out and the December 31st CARES Act cutoff date application approaches, states are fumbling to keep enough cash in their coffers to stem the tidal wave evictions that are at the doorstep, leaking through profuse. I mean, just the massive amount of suffering that has already taken place to the working class in the United States during this pandemic, and what's going to continue to happen is so needless. But again, it's because this economic system that we live in, corporate profits, stonks, that's all that matters. The average working class person, and obviously, the negative impacts are always going to be felt more by people of color, other vulnerable and marginalized groups. It's fucking disgusting. The United States is a fucking piece of shit country. Trump was right. There are, in fact, shithole countries. The United States is at the top of that list, my friends. Spring water, gotta stay hydrated. I mean, it's so disgusting. Mnuchin, who has formally asked that all but 4 credit facility programs created by the department to disperse CARES Act funds return any unused monies by the end of 2020, so they can be integrated in the federal regular federal pipeline, including the $420 billion supposedly left over from the CARES Act. What are they doing with that money? I mean, Jesus Christ, $429 billion just fucking sitting there when people are starving, getting kicked out of their homes, losing their health insurance, losing their jobs. I mean, These people have no fucking souls. And I get it. It's part of this system that allows people to think, oh, I became a multimillionaire or a billionaire, so fuck everybody else. They can starve, they can get kicked out of their houses. But I mean, Jesus Christ, where are these people's fucking souls? Look at this. Of the total 13 facilities created by Treasury, Secretary Mnuchin had asked to spare only those which pertain to financial institutions like Citigroup and a handful of usual suspects. Again, just more wealth transfer to Wall Street, more upward transfer of wealth to the oligarch capitalist class. It's just so fucking disheartening and just so disgusting on every level. I mean, for fuck's sake. Mnuchin's declaration of victory is at odds with the reality of people like Dana Imus, who lost her job as a forklift operator in March and hasn't been able to get a job since. Her landlord simply refused to recognize the federal eviction moratorium issued by the CDC in October. Similar problems occur throughout the country as property owners circumvent the laws through intimidation and legislative loopholes to force tenants out. I mean, for fuck's sake. And again, me and my family, we've been pretty lucky. Partner still has a good paying job. She's able to work from home. Not everybody is able to do that. I'm back in school, for my master's. So we're fine, but it's like, that's not the case for a vast majority of people. Again, people losing their jobs, losing their health insurance, getting kicked out during a fucking pandemic. Basically a death sentence, getting kicked out in winter during cold weather. Even worse, housing, healthcare should be human rights. That shit should just be not a question. Emergency UBI. I mean, there's this viral video of this business owner in Michigan who's like saying, like, we've all been left out to dry. The fucking government could have gave everybody in the United States 20 grand, shut everything down, stay home, and we'd be done with it. Completely opposite happened. Obviously, that's why there's so much anger and rage out there, and it's completely fucking justified. The Primary Dealer Credit Facility, PDC fee, which targets large banking institutions, and back then extended 8.95 trillion with a T, in secret below-market rate loans to 3 trading houses, constituting 2/3 of the original program's disbursement, and the commercial paper funding facility, which makes the Fed the buyer of the last resort for loans in the broader economy, thereby providing liquidity in short-term funding markets like small business. I mean, this is just fucked. In September 2019, the Fed moved $9 trillion cumulatively into Wall Street's trading house via repo loans, whose recipients are hidden from the public by the Fed policy on its open market operations, which fund trillions and trillions of dollars being pumped in to these huge, massive financial institutions, always having to get bailed out by the U.S. government. Where's the bailout for the people? Where's the bailout for the working class? $1,200 fucking check 6 months ago, if you qualified for it. That's it. Again, everybody in the U.S. with how much has been given to Wall Street, to the wealthy, to the owner oligarch class, could have given 20 grand to each person in the United States, shut everything down. That makes too much sense, obviously. We can't do it. The government can't be seen doing anything that helps people, then people might actually expect that from it, All right. It's just more dog shit, but peace, much love. Do what you can to help each other out during these times. It's clear the U.S. government isn't going to do that for us. Much love.